Looks like I'm on, Jim.
No, thank you. Let me check. It might be good.
Hold on a second.
You're good.
Trying to
Give me a test.
What's that?
Give me a test.
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Are we live? Talking to my technical guy here. Everybody's got to have a guy. Are we good? All right, I got a thumbs up. We're live. Hey, welcome. Thanks.
You got it. Have a good stream.
Okay, thanks. There goes my technical guy. I'm on my own here tonight. Okay, well, I want to try something new. Now, I've been struggling, trying to find time to address all the viewers' comments and everything, but I want to say welcome to Mike's Garage. This is something we're going to try new. It's Saturday night, so live from Mike's Garage, it's Saturday night. He told me I shouldn't use that because it's already taken by some famous show that's on Saturday night later. But I'm going to try like 9 o'clock on Fridays just to go ahead and get on here and see what we can do to get some conversation going. And just thank the people that are subscribers. I do appreciate the comments that are coming in and always enjoy reading all of them. And I just want to address all that and thank everybody for that. So I appreciate that. But it's been a crazy week. The politics are starting to heat up. The November election's coming, so everybody just vote. I'm not trying to take any sides here, so just make sure you vote. I got my trusty phone. We're going to look at the comments from some of the ones that I want to address and thank the people for the comments that they made in the past. Okay. On the videos, we go back. We'll go back a while. Okay. Okay, the latest one, I'm going to go from the latest one and go backwards. How's that? Okay, now I put up a couple of Filter Queen videos about how to fix your vacuum cleaners and air cleaners and things like that, because that's something I do on the side, you know, to make some extra money with that. So, Breck Farrer, he wants to know if there's anything you can do to fix a wire that's inside the handle of, or the hose of the Filter Queen vacuum. Now, you know how a lot of vacuums, they have that coil that runs up there. There really isn't any way to fix that. The connections are usually soldered inside the handle. Once they put the handle together, they do spots of glue on it. So the newer hoses, you can replace just the handle. You don't have to replace the entire hose, but it does have those slide connections that go around. So the handle will twist separate from the hose. So I'm afraid you can't fix that. That does have to be replaced with something that's new. So I hope that's a helpful hint, but I do appreciate your comment. Thanks for watching the videos, and you know, we need more subscribers. So a couple of the other videos I did. Now, excuse me, because I do jump around different things. I'm going to be going back and forth here, just trying to have some fun. And I'm not sure where the comments show up. So if you want to give a comment, send me a comment, and it should show up here on the screen, they're telling me. The tech guys are stepped out of the office right now, so I'm alone here in the studio, so I can ramble on. They won't go cut, anything like that to try to get me to cut off. But we've been going around checking out gasoline prices. The gasoline prices here in Western Pennsylvania are all over the map. I saw one today, $3.49. Okay, and that was just straight up gas prices. Didn't have to use their credit card. A couple of the local gas stations, Get Go or Sheets or something like that, you have to use their credit card in order to get the lower price. I think it was even a Sunoco station where I saw $3.49. just for straight up unleaded. Now, I'm happy to see it's coming down. It needs to come down a lot more to make things more affordable, because it's causing havoc with the economy. Everything's going up in price. Milk, butter, everything is going up in price just for the transportation costs, just what it costs to get everything to the market so you can buy that. Okay. Private TJ, if you've been watching, Private TJ has been a loyal fan here for quite a while. He always has some really nice comments. He's a Vietnam era veteran. There's quite a few other guys on here because we've done quite a few stories about Vietnam. And I've been covering a lot of the Ukraine war, what's going on over there. It is up front on the channels. They're showing more of that now. And sometimes you don't get as much coverage as you'd like to hear, okay? Some pretty fantastic weapon systems coming out. The artillery that they're using is devastating on both sides. You know, like I said, and I mentioned it in a couple other videos, Ukraine's army was under 1 million people, under 1 million soldiers, okay? Let's just say under 1 million soldiers. That means there's probably about 25 to 30% more support people. They're the people that bring the food. They're the people that bring the ammo. They're the people that replenish things, the medics, the people that take care of the wounded and repair the equipment, deliver the new equipment, set up the ammo depots and things like that. Those are the people behind the scenes that are supporting the fighting units, okay? So they had, before this whole thing started, there was like 800,000 total in the military. And when this whole thing started, they said anybody between the ages of 18 and 60, I believe, weren't allowed to leave the country. You had to stay and fight. So that did inflate their numbers of a lot of untrained people that are support people. Some people are choosing to fight. There's volunteers coming in, small numbers, from all over the world, coming in, wanting to fight and support Ukraine, or they just want to go fight the Russians. I don't know what their motivation is. It's hard to say, but they're losing their lives too, trying to get involved in this. But that is something that's going to put the whole world upside down if it isn't resolved soon. The food shortages that are going to come out of that, because Ukraine not only has some of the biggest nuclear generators for power in Europe, but they also produce a lot of the grain that goes all over that part of the world, okay? So there's going to be, if they don't get this with the food flowing and everything, now it's the end of the summer, so the growing season is pretty much coming to an end. So you got to start exporting all that stuff so people have a supply of the grains to last through the winter. So all that stuff has to start to move. And I know you all have a lot of comments about that. Give me a comment, and we can go into more detail about that if you want. And that's one of the things that I had touched on, and I really follow that. I don't know, maybe it's being in the military, you want to know more about what's going on there. I know the weapon systems that we had back in the day, back in Vietnam, were nothing like they have today. Okay, I can remember the small Cessna one propeller plane flying over the compound with flash going off as they patrolled the area, and what they were doing was taking pictures of the area. Now that's kind of silly, because if you're there and you're the enemy, you can see the airplane and hear the airplane coming and see the flashes as taking pictures at night. And all you have to do then is cover up, get under your camouflage. When the plane goes over, they have a hard time picking you out, okay? It's not alive like a satellite thing where they can have pictures 20 minutes apart, or live video, if you will, to see where the movement is, where everybody's hiding, and where the dangers are, okay? So it was much different back then. Today, the artillery and the missiles, they put it in a GPS heading for that. They have the kamikaze missiles, where you can actually watch on your device. You watch the missile, you're looking at it, and you can fly it right into the enemy, right in the door of the building that the people are in, or right down the hatch of the tank. So pretty devastating stuff going on over there. If you know more about that, give me a comment. I'd like to hear about that. And let's see what else we can find out here. So I don't mean to keep looking down, but that's how I got to get here. Ryan Harris is checking in. He says in Oakville, Washington, out there on the West Coast, they're still paying over $4 a gallon. So that's for regular. Okay, diesel's probably $1 more in most other places. And I really don't understand that either. Diesel fuel, when you get crude oil and you run it through the refinery, the first thing you get is diesel fuel. That's the easiest to process. That's the easiest fuel to come out. Okay, so what they have to do then is they refine the diesel fuel to make gasoline. So it's an extra process. So it takes more effort and more energy and more labor to make gasoline, but gasoline is $1 cheaper than diesel fuel. I understand that. So the other thing is the multi-fuel biofuel diesels, okay, they were designed to run on just about anything that's flammable except gasoline, okay? So if you've done any research on diesels, the best way to do it, now they're coming out with a way, they want to add 10% vegetable oil or any kind of oil, plant-based oils, to the diesel fuel. Now, that's fine if you're in a warm climate, okay? The corn oil, vegetable oil, French fry oil, all of those things that you can use in your car as fuel tend to gel in the cold weather. So anybody that's in a colder climate or anything like that really doesn't pay off if you're trying to use any kind of vegetable oil to run your car on. And it does run pretty good on vegetable oil, okay? So the best way to do it in the research that I've done is you have to have two fuel systems in the diesel. The first fuel system is the diesel fuel itself. The second thing you have to have is you have to have a separate tank that has the biofuels in it. Now that can be a combination of, not refined, but strained French fry oil. You can go to McDonald's or any of those Arby's and ask for their French fry oil or the oil that they're frying the chicken in, and you have to strain it. You have to get all the dirt out of it because it will clog the filters and it will clog the injectors. Okay, so you get the oil for free. You do have to go through a little bit of a process and get some filters to filter all the pieces of potato out of it, or pieces of chicken or batter, whatever you want to call it. You have to filter it down so it's pretty clean. And then you can put that into a separate tank. So what you do now, the fuel pumps in the diesel usually are around 90 to 100 pounds of pressure, sending it up to the injectors. So what you have to do is in the separate tank, you start the car on pure diesel fuel. And then after the car warms up and gets to operating temperature, you can switch over to vegetable oil or corn oil or French fry oil or fried chicken oil, whatever you want to do. And you can run that car on that vegetable oil. It gets about the same mileage, 30 to 40 miles per gallon. You get that, and it gives you super high torque. The turbo diesels do a great job with that, and it'll run fine. Now, the thing is, about 2 minutes before you shut the car off, you have to switch it back over to diesel fuel. And that runs all the vegetable oil out of the injectors, out of the pumps, out of the filters, so it'll be easy to start, because it's very hard to start the engine if it has just vegetable oil as a fuel. If you're familiar with diesels, you have to turn it on, you have to wait till the glow plugs heat up the cylinder, so when the fuel goes in, it ignites, because it doesn't have a spark plug. It ignites on shear pressure, the high pressure from the compression of the piston. You inject the fuel and you get the explosion of the fuel or the burning of the fuel, and it gets the car going forward, gets the engine going forward. So if you're going to, that's what I don't understand, why they don't want diesels in this country. They use them all over Europe. They use them all across the Mediterranean. Diesels are the way to go. If you run it on vegetable oil, it's a very, very low pollution. It's not like the black smoke that comes out of the big tractor trailers. It burns pretty clean. And you know, you're riding behind somebody and all you smell is vegetable oil or French fries because that's what is burning. So anyway, again, I'm rambling on about that. Sorry about that. But it doesn't make sense to me why we don't try to find alternate fuels. Now, if you're following the news lately, California just said, oh, by 2035, you're not going to be allowed to have a gasoline car in the city of California. I mean, the state of California. So, and then a week later, he comes out, the governor, Newsom, he comes out and he says, well, you know, over the Labor Day weekend, we don't want everybody driving around, so please don't charge your cars because the grid won't handle everybody charging their cars over the weekend. We don't want to overload the grid. Well, great. Now they're having a heat wave out there. Everybody's trying to charge their cars. The grid is completely stressed out. Is that really where we want to go? When we could have a vehicle that would run on biofuels, fuel that you can grow, fuel that you can process, that is not a petroleum product. It does not pollute. So yes, it's important that you have the petroleum product to start the car and get it warmed up. Then you can switch it over to 100% biofuel. Run wherever you're going on that. A minute or two before you shut the car off, you have to switch it back over to diesel fuel. Run all the vegetable oil out of the system and then shut the car off, and it will start right away the next time you go to start the car. And then you switch it back. So anybody that does a lot of driving during the day, the salesmen, even the tractor trailers, if you could make that understood that you can have a biofuel diesel and still run that and minimize the pollution, why are we going to try to have everybody have an electric car? They're expensive. What are we going to do with all the batteries? When those batteries go bad after 4, 5, 6 years, those batteries don't last forever. What are you going to do with all those bad batteries? You're going to bury them in the ground. That's another problem with we're poisoning the drinking water. But we're not going to get into that environmental stuff right now. But just the fuel and the electric cars and why we're not pushing harder on diesel, I don't know. I think that would be the right way to go, to experiment and try to grow that industry. Okay, I mentioned Private TJ, appreciate him. Joseph Ryan, appreciate your comments. He's been with me from the beginning there. It's nice to have subscribers that want to participate and have something to say. So I really do appreciate all that. Ryan Harris, another guy that's been with me for a long time here. Ryan, it's always good to hear from you. Let's see where we are. He's got your nose in the chin. Talking about my grandson, okay? But I put up a couple short videos, and I've been trying to do some of those to show you some of the fun we're having. But that was Sam on the video. We had a good time with that. My son and my grandson and I went out, and we played a par 3, 9 holes, and we just had a great time. It wasn't crowded. Nobody's pushing us to try and hurry up. We gave out a lot of mulligans. If you're familiar with golf, you know, if you hit it, you shank it one way, you slice it another way, just hit another one. Hit 3 or 4 balls, and you try to play the best one. Okay, so that's what we were trying to accomplish. And you know, actually, by the end of 9 holes, he was playing pretty good. He even sank like an 18-foot putt on the last green. We worked with him, and it was a lot of fun. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted here. There's comments popping up on the screen here, and I'm not really sure what to do with those yet. But I don't know how to freeze them on the screen so I could read them. But you know, keep the comments coming. I appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in and watching. There's supposed to be some way on here about who I can tell is watching, or give me a comment, and I'll try to see it here. No, I didn't see it on here. It must be just on that. Ryan Harris, I said about that. Again, the golfing day with Sam. We did make it interesting. The winner got a. Okay, I'm not sure that it went off the screen before I could read who it was from. I'm sorry, I'm not really up on how to get that done. Okay. One of the other things we did is we played for ice cream, which was pretty funny. I wound up getting a two, okay, and a birdie. I got one nice iron shot, put it about 6 feet from the pin, and was able to sink the putt. So I think I was the only one that got a birdie out there. A lot of us four putted, five, so we just had a good time. That was the whole goal of the day. You had a walk here in Pittsburgh. A lot of the golf courses are hilly. It's not like playing in Florida where you just have slow rolling greens and rolling fairways. The fairways are slanted one way or slanted the other way. The greens, for the most part, were pretty flat. I have to give them credit for that. The par three we played had imitation grass mats for the tee box, which was fine. We're only there to do a little practicing with the irons. I think I used a 9-iron and a putter. That's the only two clubs I used the whole day. But it was a lot of fun. I didn't lose any balls, which was even better than that. Usually you get the driver out and you hit something 300 yards off to the left. You could never hit it that far going straight. But if you're going to slice it, it goes further than you can imagine. So those of you who are golfers out there, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that was one of the things we did over the last week, was get in 9 holes of golf. That was great. It was a lot of fun. And let's see what else we got here. The gas is too high in Cleveland, but it's anonymous. Looks like it's Cleveland, Texas. And we had talked before about the CBD oils. Now, when I was in Vietnam, there was a lot of, let's call them stoners. Okay, people who just couldn't leave the marijuana alone. And now the marijuana is kind of legal in some places. You really don't get in a lot of trouble with it if you have it, unless you're trying to deal it, unless you're trying to move pounds of it. But the small amounts, they're only giving you like a ticket or a citation or something like that. But anyway, they're trying to substitute that. You still have to go get a marijuana card here in Pennsylvania. You actually talk to a doctor over the phone. As long as you pay your $50, then you get the marijuana card. He just grants it to you. You tell him, oh, I'm stressed out, or I have all this anxiety. Oh yeah, you need to be on marijuana. So it's pretty easy to get the card from what I understand. I'm not a user, just make that clear. But I heard it's pretty easy to get that card. So the other alternative is to go with the CBD oils. Now, CBD oil, they have a flower, which is a pre-rolled joint, if you will, and the flower product. And they do have what they call the Delta 8. Okay, now I'm familiar with the SunMed products, familiar with the SunMed stores. I know a guy that has a couple of the stores, and those two products in the store, they're the ones that you inhale or ingest, okay? It will give you a positive drug test if you have to test for drugs at work. School bus drivers, truck drivers, and things like that, you will get a positive test. The oils and the ointments, I have used the CBD ointments on a knee. I have a knee that gives me a problem once in a while. I have a couple hand finger knuckles that give me a problem once in a while. And I have used the lotions from the CBD store. Now, it does give you temporary relief. I'll tell you, when I put it on my knee, probably 15 minutes, my knee didn't hurt anymore. And it was fine. 3, 4, 5 hours later, pretty much it was wearing off, okay? So it does give you temporary relief if you're just looking for something to put on so you can sleep a little more comfortable. If you're just looking for something to get you started during the day and get things going or get your joints loosened up, it works pretty good. So I'm not trying to plug CBD oils, but you should know that if you use the CBD oils, some of them will give you a positive test for drugs, marijuana, if you have to pass a drug test during your job. Okay, I don't know everybody that has to get tested. I don't know who requires that. I don't know. I can't imagine like restaurant workers and things like that. I'm not aware that any of those waitresses or waiters or the bartenders have to go through a drug test. But anybody that's involved with driving school students around, the bus drivers and all that, you are subjected to random drug tests. And anybody that has a CDL license to drive a truck, they probably have a random drug testing schedule that comes into play with there. It depends if you're union, non-union, how often they can test you. Okay, so just so you know that the CBD oils can do that. Okay, Stephen, thanks for your comment there, Stephen. I haven't been able to keep that on the screen there long enough to see what you're saying, but thanks for watching. Let's see what else we have here. I got a lot of comments about the Ukraine war. We talked on that earlier. A lot of people don't give them a chance of winning. They just say this is just dragging out and Russia's going to build up whatever and crush them. But Russia's also threatening a lot of other people over there. So I just hope that doesn't get out of control. We don't get sucked into that, because it looks like they're trying to suck in Germany, and a lot of the other countries over there have become dependent on Russia for their energy. And that's not a good thing, because now he's holding that over their heads. He's threatening to cut off their energy. So I just hope it doesn't get out. I'd like to see it get settled. I don't want Ukraine to have to give up any land, but it has to stop. So we'll go from there. Okay, TJ, and the other thing, let me say this. I like doing this. I think this is a lot easier than making videos and trying to put those up. But if I can consistently do this on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock, let me know your feelings. I got to find out where I can see your comments a little better here. So forgive me, I can't see them. I'll have to get my engineer in here to take a look at that and help me show so I can see and read what your comments are coming to me. If you go on Mike's Garage, I'm not really seeing the comments coming up on there. I'm sorry, I keep looking at my phone while we're doing that. Let's see. Twin Turkers. It looks like a British flag there, so I guess he's from Great Britain. And he wanted to make a comment on the live streaming video I did cutting the lawn, which was the first time I tried that going live. Now, a lot of times they don't let you go live on your phone unless you're over 1,000 subscribers. So we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That opens up a whole new way of doing things. It gives you a little more opportunity to get messages out there and make videos and have a little more freedom to do that. So I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers to do that. The other thing that came out and is been getting a lot of views on my channel anyway is the car crash warning system. Now, anybody that has a newer car, the older ones had just a beeper, and they had those sensors in the back bumper. So when you were backing up and were starting to get close to something, it would beep and then beep, and the closer you got, the more frequent it would beep until you actually bumped into it or you stopped before you did bump into it, okay? So that was the early crash warning systems. So it was actually just a distance monitor how close you were getting to an object. So the newer ones have the backup camera and they have the front crash warning system. Now, I actually had that go off today. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. The backup camera, you have to keep it clean. It does get dirty. It gets dirt and build up on it. If it rains, you get a raindrop hanging on it. I haven't really tried to put like Rain-X or anything on it where the rain wouldn't beat up on there. I really, a lot of times, I just get a wet finger and wipe it across the lens. It's usually right above the license plate, and that clears it up good enough. So you can see the markings that show where you are behind you, so you know where you're backing up to. So that is very helpful. The other thing that I got a lot of comments on was the crash warning system on the front. Now that's usually located, mine is located on the passenger side bumper down low. It's a little opening in the bumper that has the sensor coming out of there. Okay. Now today we were coming back from the Little League game. Okay. One of my grandsons was playing Little League today, T-ball. So we went that, it was a 9 o'clock game. I'm surprised the kids were up ready to play that early, but we had a great time. So we're on our way back. And well, there's a couple highways that are 50 miles an hour. So we're coming down, and one place is a downhill, and at the bottom of the hill is a traffic light, of course, before you can go up the other side of the hill. So we're coming down, and I was keeping my distance. I wasn't catching the car in front of me or going back. We're all doing about 50 miles an hour. The light turned red, and the guy in front of me started to slow down pretty hard, okay? Because we were going to get to the intersection pretty quick because we're going 50. So he started slowing down pretty hard, and I hadn't touched the brake yet. And that crash warning system went off. And this guy's probably 50, 60, 70 yards in front of me, pretty good distance away. And the warning system was working, and it gives me the beep, beep, beep that there's an obstacle in front of you that if you don't start slowing down now, you're going to hit it, okay? So I was paying attention. It didn't catch me by surprise. Well, the tone caught me by surprise because it was accurate that I needed to start slowing down now rather than try to stand my car up on the front tires to slow any faster than that. So that was very helpful today. I thought the video went over pretty well. A lot of people have watched it. It gives you kind of an explanation. The newer cars, the 2001s, the 2002s, I know a guy has a Subaru that I know, and they have the smart cruise control, which that has all of that bells and whistles. But if you're in traffic, say you're going down a turnpike or one of the major highways in your state, and you set the cruise control about 65 miles an hour. So you're going along 65, 70, whatever the local speed limit is, and it will slow the car down. If the car in front of you goes from 70 to 65, without shutting off the cruise control, it will slow the car down from 70 to 65, and you'll still be on cruise control. It won't let you get any closer to the car in front of you, and I'm not really sure, I have to check with him, if the car in front of you picks up and starts moving faster, goes back up to 70 miles an hour, I believe your car will take itself up to what the previous desired speed was. So it will take you from 70 down to 65 because the car in front of you slowed down. If the car starts to pull away again, then your car will take you back up to 70. It won't go above 70 to keep up with the car. If he's going 75 now, you'll have to reset the minimum speed or the maximum speed, actually it would be. So I think that's pretty neat. Their front crash warning systems are getting better. Some of you have asked, how do I shut it off? I don't know how to shut it off. I can't figure out how to do that, but I don't think you should. Because if something happens and they say, well, your insurance company said, well, why didn't your crash warning system go off? And you say, oh, I shut that stupid thing off. I think you're in for a lot of trouble there. It can just get you into something you really don't want to be involved in. So you have to put up with it. I'm not aware of any way you can turn the volume down on that beeper that goes off when you get too close. So you just have to deal with it. It is getting better, though. I do think it's going to be something to in the future. Okay, probably in your electric car while you're waiting to charge the battery. I don't know. I don't have an electric car. How long does it take to charge the battery? I mean, I heard a couple guys say, well, they can drive for 2.5 hours on a charge, and then when they find a charging station, it takes them 1.5 hours to charge it. So if you're going 300 miles, it's going to take you 5 or 6 hours because you have to stop and charge the battery for at least 1.5 hours or 2 hours to go that distance. So I'm really not sure how that's going to work out. Chef, he's at the Wawa, which is a convenience store out east. It's at like Pennsylvania, parts of New York, Delaware, New Jersey, Maryland. The Wawa is the 7-Eleven of the East Coast. Okay, I don't know that they're any further than that. I think they're all the way down into Florida. I'm not sure if they go down that far, but yeah, he's at the Wawa convenience store, and he's paying $3.74, which that's pretty good. I mean, from where we were up close to $5, $4.99. So we've come down. I did get a few comments that it's strictly political. Once the election's over in November, it's going to go back up again. So we'll see what happens with that. Christopher Nolan. Christopher, I don't know where you are. You didn't give me your location. And he's saying that the gas prices were still $4.60 a gallon to $5 wherever he is. I think he's out on the West Coast. Okay, so you know, it varies all over, because even around here you can find 20, 30 cents a gallon variance from even the same gas station will be different. And I know one of the things I said before was the Get-Go, which is a local gas station that's associated with the food market, Giant Eagle or Giant, and that's in this area, eastern United States, northeastern, and so their gas stations, I don't know if they're independently owned, separate from the major company, or run a different way, but I've seen a 15% difference 2 miles away. One was $3.99 and the other was $4.14 for a gallon of regular gas, and that's if you didn't use their credit card. It was still 15 cents difference per gallon at the same gas station, same company, 2 miles away. So I don't know what the difference is. Maybe it was a different county, maybe it was a different township, and they had more taxes on there, because they really do tax that heavy. Okay, there's a lot of taxes going on with that. Okay, okay, Ryan Harris made a comment about the gas prices at Grays Harbor County. I think that's out in Washington State. He says they're down to $4.39, which was a couple Sundays ago. And that's why I like to try to do this weekly. Now, like I said, 9 o'clock Saturday night, I'm going to try to do this. Just get on here to do the comments. I have to figure out, talk to my engineer about how do I get the comments up on the screen here so I can see. I do see that some people are logging in and they're watching. I don't know how long they're staying on here. I can't see their comments because it just flashes up on the screen right now and just going. So I apologize for that, but I'll get that fixed. I'll get those guys in here to help me figure that out. Okay. Don't want to answer that right now. A couple of you had noticed that we took a little trip down to the beach. We were in Ocean City, New Jersey, went to Cape May, New Jersey. Very nice time, very nice to get out of Pittsburgh and go sit at the beach for a little while. We've been to Ocean City, Maryland, Cape Hatteras, and different things, but I always enjoy the New Jersey beach. We had a nice boardwalk, nice amusement park right there on the boardwalk in Ocean City. We had a great time. Okay, I'm getting more comments there. It's just flashing up on the screen. Sorry about that. I'll figure that out, honestly. I'm not sure where you are. Siege Jewel. It says CEJJUL. You can read the comments there. And he says he's in Langley Township. Okay, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, he's paying $7 a gallon. I'm not sure where Langley Township is, but they're paying $7 a gallon out there. Hopefully that's come down, because that's brutal. I mean, especially if you have to drive to work. Some people are still lucky enough to be able to work from home, which has really been saving this. And a lot of it, the gas prices are coming down because people aren't driving as much as they used to. Okay, a lot of the companies only require you to come in 2 days a week. They tried to get everybody to come in 5 days a week. but with the price of gas and everything, they pushed it up to 2 days a week, and that's what a lot of them are doing. Like right now, they're letting you stay home. Goober McBooger, he's in Florida. Goober, nice to hear from you. Thank you for your comment. He says they're paying $3.90 a gallon in Florida. I'm not sure which part of Florida, but I guess it's all the same from the top to the bottom. It is a very long state. You ever been in Florida and tried to drive from the bottom to the top? It takes you forever. It's like 3 normal states. It's like driving through the Carolinas and Georgia just to go from the top of Florida to the bottom. Beautiful state. I love Florida. Louisville, Kentucky, Tom Pagolas. Tom, $4.48 a gallon. Nice to hear from you. Appreciate you chiming in. Here we go. AC, just AC. 2 letters. 669 in LA, California. Okay, LA, better brace. They're gonna get rid of the rent control out there at the end of the year, and we'll see what's going to happen with the landlords. What they're going to do with the rent control restrictions that are going to be lifted. So that's going to be really interesting there. Halamain, I hope I said that right. I'm sorry. I'm probably butchering a lot of these names. He says he's a Russian immigrant. He says that the real reason Russia is in Ukraine is for the oil, that they want to try and control the energy in that region, that Ukraine is rich in petroleum and they want to control the food and the oil in that area, and having Ukraine's feather back in their cap is key to them controlling that area. They will have the power over people. They will control the most of the food, and they will control most of the energy. So he's an immigrant from Ukraine. This is what he's telling me here. I believe him. Well, he really does. The Russian economy runs on oil because they sell it. Okay, there's even been some articles that they are funding the environmental groups here in the United States to keep the United States from drilling for more oil, from developing the Alaska oil fields, from pumping natural gas and fracking, that they are doing it so we won't produce our energy. We'll be forced to use their energy, which in Russia they're not restricting anything as far as how to get the oil out of the ground, how to get the natural gas out of the ground so they can make money on it. It's not in the best interest of the United States to make Russia more powerful. Everything we buy is from China. Russia is going to be one of the top energy producers in the region. So he just goes on and on about Russia and China. Okay, same thing. I don't want to get sucked into it. I know he's probably right. Everybody's trying to control or have something over top of somebody else. So you can go in the comments there on Mike's Garage and read his whole paragraph there. He's got a whole paragraph about what he feels about what's going on in Ukraine and what the real reason for the war is. I know they said that the reason for the war was to liberate Ukraine, that Ukraine was being suppressed by a communist overtaking by the West, and that's why he wanted to liberate Ukraine. But he's saying that's baloney, that they really want to control the food and energy from that region. So we'll see what happens. I think that's part of the reason they're after it. Again, another comment on the Filter Queen video I did. I like doing those videos. It's pretty handy to do. That's what I work on most of the time. I really haven't crawled under a car in a little while since, back in the day when you did the 55 Chevys and swapping the V8 engines and going to bigger motors and 4-speeds and all that. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I'm getting older. It's kind of hard to crawl under the car anymore to make all that happen. Jan Lauderdale, thanks me for the help. We gave her some help on fixing her Filter Queen, which she was having a problem with. And Bob Fairclough, Thanks for your comment on that. Appreciate the recognition that I helped you out with a little bit of the advice there that we give. Ryan Harris chimed in again. Always good to hear from him. MSP. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, let's go, Brandon. Okay, you abbreviated that. Sorry about that. Okay, he again about the early crash warning system. He didn't want to. He wants to shut it off, and I don't recommend that you shut it off. It needs to stay on for insurance purposes. You know, if something happens, you don't want to be in a position where you say, "Oh, I had that early warning system shut off," because it's just going to cause you more problems. It's a safety thing. You really should leave it on. Yeah. Mark Rove, he says, saved him twice, the early warning system. You know, he wasn't really paying attention. He tried it in reverse, and it did break for me. He was backing up. So I don't know about that, how fast you go backing up. I don't know. But, you know, if there's something solid there, I know mine goes off if there's a hedge or there's a telephone pole, if there's a brick wall. Sometimes it goes off if the brick wall is there, sometimes it doesn't. So, Mark Rove, good luck. I'm going to try that. I'm going to see if the crash warning system works in reverse, because you should be watching the camera anyway to see what you're going to hit. Okay? Yeah, PJ is chiming in, private TJ. You know, he's a veteran. He's a veteran from a long time ago. I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments as they come up there on the screen. Like I said, they're just flashing up right now. I got to figure out how to keep them up there so I can watch them. Okay, something about freezer meat. Is that you, Michelle? I don't know. We'll find out. He's not going to sell out his grandkids. And let's go back to the grandkids. I want to tell you that story about that today. They had their first T-ball game. You know, there's like 14 kids on the team. They put everybody on the field. The typical infield, and they just line everybody up along the edge of the outfield. And you get 6 pitches. Now, these are like 5-year-olds, 4 years old. And they get them up to the plate. I mean, they get the whole uniform, the batting helmet, the bats and everything, spikes. It's really funny. Cute. What a cute bunch of kids. Mixed league, boys and girls on the same team, which is fine. I like that. And, you know, I have 3 sisters, so it's always good to give the girls the same deal as the boys. I think they can excel the same way. But anyway, so we go there, and he gets up to bat. And he's a lefty, so he's going to bat left-handed. And the first couple times he bats off the tee, and then the third time he gets up, they tell him, "No, we're going to pitch to you. You have to hit the ball and then run." So they threw 3-4 balls to him, and he missed swinging. Then he finally connected, and he hit the ball, and he went to run after the ball to get it. And they kept yelling at him, "No, just run to first, just run to first." So he ran to first base. And he was so happy to make it on the first base. We were all cheering, which was a lot of fun there to see him make it to first base. So then the inning was over. Everybody got the bat. Everybody got to run around the bases. It was a lot of fun. So they put the kids out on the field. So my grandson's playing second base. And no matter where the ball was hit, he went to go get it. So he was running to third. He was running to the pitcher's mound. He was running over to the shortstop, trying to get the ball before the shortstop could get it. So I'm not sure what that was. Somebody said breakfast is their favorite meal, so appreciate that. So I'll try to, like I say, I have to figure out how to watch those to get the comments up so I can read the whole thing. But anyway, so we said the thing that the earth is covered, 2/3 of the earth is covered by water, and the rest of it is covered by my grandson, because he could run all over the place. And we were just having such a ball with that, laughing. And you know what the thing was at the end? He got the game ball. He was so happy and so proud that he got the game ball, and they told him because he showed aggressive play. And he was aggressive. I mean, no matter what the ball was, he was going to go get it, which was important to him. Okay, so I'm looking forward to the next game. They play during the week, 6, 7 o'clock at night. I can't believe they did it on a school night, but most of the games are at night because the older kids, now these are first through fourth grade, they play during the week, 6 to 8 o'clock, something like that. So we're going to get a lot of game time in. And like I say, every Saturday night I'm going to try to do this from 9 o'clock. I don't know if I'm going to limit it to anything. I'm not even sure how to stop streaming at this point, but I do want to do that, and we'll sign off here in a little bit. Let me see who else is on here. Baldo Hernandez. Baldo, I don't know where you are, bud. But he's saying about the price of gas is too high. He didn't really say where he was or how much he was paying for it, but I appreciate his comment. Thanks for, giving your comments on here. It's always good to hear from different people. MSHT, he's paying $4.67 a gallon in Fort Worth, Texas. So thank you for chiming in there. C Solo is from Southern California. Cheapest gas you can find in my area is $6.75, and diesel, which we talked about a little earlier, is $8. Wow. And that's what we should be pursuing, is running engines, diesels, on biofuel. French fry oil, corn oil, vegetable oil. I don't even know how much vegetable oil. Next time I go to the store, I'm going to find out how much a gallon of vegetable oil is. It can't be $8 a gallon. I know olive oil is, but the vegetable oil and all that, there's got to be a cheaper way of getting a fuel that doesn't pollute, and you don't have to wait for a charging station. Because I know a couple of people in Southern California, and they said sometimes you have to wait 15, 20, 30 minutes or longer just to get a charging station that's they're all being used. He says, and there's cars waiting to get in there to get a charge so they can continue on their way. And the charges are typically an hour. I think they said you can get a 60% charge in an hour. And I don't know how far that's going to take you, maybe 100 miles. So if it takes you an hour to get a charge so you can drive 100 miles, is that really worth it? We got to look at alternative fuels. Just like we're looking at alternative energy with the windmills and the solar panels and things like that, there's got to be a better way to get an internal combustion engine to run on something besides fossil fuel. Tom Pergolis, I think we talked about him. It's $4.99 in Louisville, Kentucky, so that was a little while. And here's Max Finish. He's in Germany, and he's paying $7 a liter. Well, go figure that. How much is that a gallon? But he's paying $7 for a liter in Germany. I think there's a lot more diesels in there. I did read a story about London. Now, in the city of London, you're not allowed to have a car that runs on gasoline. You're not allowed to drive it in the city. If you do, you can get a fine, or you have to have a special permit, like the delivery trucks and stuff like that still have gasoline engines. But they have parking lots at the edge of the city where you can go in and park your car and take public transportation or wherever you want to go in the city, buses, trains, trolleys, whatever you want to call them. And then, or you can rent an electric vehicle. They have all kinds of electric cars over there. They have, the electric Fiats, the electric Volkswagens, the electric Mercedes, the BMWs are all over the place over there. And you're not allowed to drive a gasoline vehicle in the city unless you have a permit to do so. So I don't know how that's working out. It seems to have cut down on quite a bit of the traffic over there. Everybody takes public transportation everywhere, and it's different. In some of the cities here in this country, the public transportation is not as good as it was it kind of they always cutting back on the amount of routes they have and the amount of routes that they have and things like that as the need for it changes. Okay, what other comments we have here? Patrick Spapins, he's in Switzerland, and he's paying $4.99 a gallon. If you want to get a gallon here, $4.99 a gallon question mark. If you want get a gallon of gasoline in Switzerland, it's $10 or more. He says, so I should stop complaining. Okay, I hear you, Patrick, and it's true. And in some of those countries, fossil fuels, gasoline, petrol, whatever you want to call it, is through the roof. And unless you're in Saudi Arabia, and that's 18 cents a gallon. So anyway, thank you for your comment on that. I appreciate that. I don't mean to sound like I'm whining about it. You know, I do cut back on the amount that I'm driving. I try to have fuel efficient cars. I haven't had a car that has a V8 in it in a long time. I'm driving 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders, trying to get 22 to 28 miles per gallon around town. It's about what my vehicle's getting right now. And like I say, there's small 4 cylinders and no hot rods anymore. The hot rods, it was how many gallons you use per mile, some of those cars. Anyway, yeah, he says, okay, here's Summerchrome. He's from Germany, and he's paying $8.75 to $9 a gallon where he gets his gasoline in Germany. Appreciate hearing from you. Appreciate your comments. Really nice to hear people give a different perspective from all over the place. So that's a lot of fun. Arthium Makovic, he says he's paying $2.10. I think that's in Russia. So we'll see what happens with that. In the Bay Area in California, $7. David Cabrella, thank you for your comment, David. T. Scott is in Tacoma, Washington, $5.50 a gallon out there. And that's it. That's pretty much what's going on. Listen, I'm going to try to do this. I think we've been on about an hour so far. So I'm going to wind this up right now. I want to see your comments. Please give me a comment about what you think about this. I do want to address the comments that you're sending to me. It's very hard to do that just to make a video. I want to try to figure out how to use this screen here so I can read the comments as you give them to me live. We can even have some conversations if you want. Everybody can chime in and get used to seeing it, okay? But we're here in the garage outside in the alley. You know, make sure you give me your comments. Let me know what you think of this live broadcast. We're going to try to do more of that every Saturday night, 9 till whenever. Right now, we're going to cut it off for an hour, 9 till 10. If that works out, I don't mind talking, you can tell. I love to talk about it, love to read the comments, and let's get a conversation going here about the fuel, about the energy, about what's going on in the environmental thing. I really don't want to talk politics, okay? That's too inflammatory, so let's not talk about politics. Let's leave that to the TV pundits to give their opinions on who's doing what right and who's doing it wrong. So we'll go from there. Okay, thanks for watching Mike's Garage, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. I got to get to 1,000 subscribers here pretty soon. Really pushing it pretty hard now. Appreciate you watching. Give me the comments. See ya. Do something nice for a stranger. That's always surprising to do something nice for somebody you don't even know. Think about it. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. See about if I can figure out how to shut this off. We'll see you next Saturday night.